goodness. It's so windy right now. It was not windy when I hit the live button. But we're gonna fix this somehow here. I'm gonna find a non-windy area. Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you're watching this, it is Reid from readaboutsex.com. I have my gray Sex Geek t-shirt on today, and I have my little furry button down on because it is chilly today. But I've got a lot of work to do, so I figured I would come outside for a quick walk with you, even though it's cold and overcast, because I need some fresh air. So take a breath. Let me go. Let me know if you can hear me, even though it's windy. And my phone just told me that the battery's low, even though I've got my little battery charger plugged in. So hopefully this will all work. The quick advice for today, because last night, at my tender age, I was running into hydraulic issues in a situation that required, it would have been better served with hydraulic non-issues. However, I happened to be hanging out with some very, very savvy sex geek nerds who were also having some hydraulic issues, and the solution, which I want to talk to you about today, is how you think, for those of us who are penis owners who have hydraulics for these kinds of things, and for those who enjoy playing with penis owners, the concept of thinking outside of the box when it comes to erections, and how you can lessen some of the pressure and some of the worry by using some simple hacks, which will sound obvious to some but completely insane to others. And the idea is basically, can you make sex not about erections, and can you get out of your head fast enough, or do you have good coping mechanisms to erect, no pun intended, a ladder to climb out of the emotional and psychological hole that you've fallen into, so that you can not kind of spiral out in your head about what's going on, and that kind of being distracted takes you out of the moment. Now you're beating yourself up, your insecurities rush in, and that's the kind of thing that I'm very prone to, as being somebody who's who is insecure but very secure with how insecure I am. And the other thing that I have to mention that's happening right now is I'm walking through the neighborhood on the weekend, and even though it's cold outside, there are lots of people around, and we're having a conversation about erections, and people are around. So there's that going on, and I'm mentioning that as a means of getting out of my head about it. So one of the coping strategies, or one of the tools, is for you to be able to tell the people that you're hanging out with, or casually mention the thing that's going on for you. Oh, I would love to be fucking you right now with my cock, but I can't because it's not getting hard enough to do that. So let me do something else. Let me try something else. Which means you could try a completely different activity. May I go down on you? Or, would you like to give me a hand job or a blow job or play with my penis? Because maybe it'll get hard, but if it doesn't, it still feels good. I think another solution that's really useful is to have the room and the opportunity and the equipment, because remember, professional tools create professional results, ladies and gentlemen. That when you don't have your hydraulics working the way that you would like to, last night, hanging out with the people that I was hanging out with, no one hesitated to grab a strap-on harness and a dildo and strap it on, which if you are culturated or raised, air quotes, as a traditional air quotes, maybe double air quotes, but if you're raised, with the idea of like what being a man means, most people wouldn't think of, oh, well, if my penis isn't getting hard, like, give me a strap-on, honey. That wouldn't have occurred to me when I was growing up in New Hampshire, in high school, or when I was in Rhode Island in college. That wouldn't have occurred to me as an option. It's totally an option, and it's a good option. And it's also an option where, with the right kind of harness, you can then have, when your hydraulics are working fine, you can create a DP situation, depending on who you're playing with, because you can have a harness that has a dildo and your hydraulics, or for those of you without penises, there are harnesses where you can set up 2 dildos in the same harness. And so, like, that's just a thing that I wouldn't have thought of growing up, and I think it's a valid resource and technique. And I was very blessed to be hanging out with sex geeks who, without a moment's hesitation, just reached for the strap-on. That, of course, means you have to have a strap-on handy or have friends who brought their strap-ons. And then there's also the beautiful, delightful situation where you can strap it on, and then you have a choice of different kinds of dildos, different textures, different sizes. So if you have a partner who wants to be penetrated, or give a blowjob to a huge, humongous cock, you can get a dildo like that. Or if you have a partner who maybe wants to be penetrated, in however, but I mean, for anal penetration, you can strap on a tinier dildo for for whomever, for whatever the hole's needs are in that moment. What else? Last but not least, as an idea for hydraulic issues, and again, this, like, I'm not a medical doctor, nor do I play one on television, and this isn't really a conversation about how to delve into and figure out solutions to the erection issue. But what I do know is, for me, being able to not get caught in an emotional and psychological spiral puts me in a better headspace that is in the general neighborhood of being able to get my erection back, if that's the case. Certainly I have friends who are on certain kinds of medication, or going through chemotherapy and things like that, or other like really high stress situations, or just high stress situations for their bodies where erections just aren't going to be happening then and there. So that's its own situation. But even in that situation, the other thing that can help, along with using strap-ons and harnesses, is getting really good and comfortable and confident with using your hands and your mouth, if you're into oral, as alternative means for pleasuring people. I love hand sex. I teach a workshop on it. I talk about hand sex in a couple of my courses, online courses. And so, like, getting to understand people's bodies and how to pleasure them and be able to use your hands, that's super useful, because for me, at this point in my life, like, my hands aren't going to lose their erection, so to speak. And so, that's a whole other thing to think about and, get comfy with, so that you just have more choices and more options in how you play with people, which, for those of us with penises, means that, we have other things we can do rather than having to rely solely on our erections. So that's kind of the talk today. I'm just seeing comments. Rodney, this is not directed at you. So I didn't pick this topic because I was thinking about you this morning, but I hope you're getting some value out of it. Everybody else, leave some comments. I'll check the comments when I get back inside. and try to like everybody's comments. Let me know what your thoughts are on this talk today. And if you're looking for resources to geek out on and get better at hand sex, understand people's bodies, just sex in general, then I've got an online course with some free training videos you can sign up for at sex10xonline.com, and that's sex, the number 10, 10x, online.com. That would be the thing that I would recommend, because you can get some free videos there, geek out with me, and then figure out if you want to do a 6-week online course that will cover the whole spectrum of sexual self-confidence and skill sets. And if you join that course, you'll also get a bonus second membership, so you can do it with a buddy. You can have a Sex 10X buddy to do it with you, or a partner or a loved one. Yeah, that's the main stuff. So thanks for getting me out of the house, for being my daily excuse to get a little bit more exercise and to spend some time with everybody. Share this video, hit a couple of emoticons, and make it rain some emoticons today. And thanks for being a part of all this. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be sunny. Bye, guys. Mwah. Have a good weekend.